Hey guys, Ryan Stileson here, and today I'm going to talk to you about how you, as a local business owner, can make an additional $50,000 or more plus per month by implementing the strategies that we primarily help our businesses with, our clients with, which is Google Business Profile Optimization and Google Local Service Ads Optimization. And yeah, we'd love to get any questions or have any questions from you. There's a lot that's happening. If you are actually running, if you are looking to get or generate more leads, those two platforms, Google Local Service Ads and Google Business Profile, are the two that show up at the top of Google. There's been a lot of changes over the past, few months, especially with ChatGPT even launching and announcing that they have their own search platform, which is definitely not that great. I tested it out for a lot of different reasons. It doesn't do really anything close to what Google does in terms of helping you find a local business, especially since there's no reviews really. There's not a lot of specificity in terms of like where the businesses are, and there's no Google Screen or Google Guaranteed. So yeah, if you're looking to to grow your business and to generate a constant stream of additional revenue, um, then there those two specific platforms on Google, which is like I said, Google Local Service Ads and Google Business Profile. They're the best two for any local business out there. 70% of people that are looking for a local business are still looking on those two platforms. And what really drives the results for those two platforms is for the Google Local Service Ad section is what we call the 3 Rs. And I just created a new a school community, um, that's spelled SKOOL for you guys that don't know what school is. You can go and find it. It's called Local Lead Labs, and I've got 7 free classes on there that will help you understand how to really optimize both your Google Business Profile page and your local service ads page, and how to leverage artificial intelligence. What we're going to do, on a regular basis, on these live videos, once we have our AI completely triple checked, beta tested, and we've got our onboarding process complete. We've got 10 clients, or no, 15 clients that we brought on so far. And now we're just taking a breather in terms of taking on any new additional artificial intelligence clients, because of the fact that we want to make sure that we are able to deliver a consistent onboarding and a consistent result for the businesses that we onboard and that we bring on. Okay, so what that looks like is that you're able to go live within 2 weeks for sure. In that 2 weeks, we have a kickoff meeting, a go live session, and then an expansion meeting. Um, and the first day that we start the onboarding process, we send you an A2P form. That's A as in apple, the number 2, and then P as in Paul. And that form is something that's required by the in the United States if you want to set up a any type of a text messaging platform. And there is a specific process that you want to follow in order to get approved through that A2P process. The US is basically, what they're trying to do is just crack down on any spamming that goes on the in the messaging platform, which they're not doing a very good job of, actually, because I get a lot of spam um, on my text now, much more than I used to. So that's what it's for, though. And so we go through that process with you and for you, and then we also create your prompt for you. On these calls, we're going to actually help you set up your own agent so that you can use it to replace, or in lieu of, or in addition to your intake team. You can have the AI agent answer phone calls and respond to message leads instantly, so that every single message lead or every single voice call or every chat that happens on your website can be responded to within seconds. And what that does is it significantly increases the likelihood that you're going to be able to convert that lead. And what it also does is it gives you more leads, because when Google sees that you're responding to those message leads within 30 seconds and those voice leads, you're going to get a significant increase in the number of leads that you get. And I'm going to show you, let me just show you what I'm talking about so you can see. So I'm going to play some videos for you. So, and yeah, if you want to, you can just text us at 619-304-5155. We'll be happy to get back to you there. And here's an example of what the AI sounds like.
Appliance service, how may I help you?
Hello, I'm calling because my oven is not working.
Okay, let me get some more details about your oven issue. What exactly is happening with your oven? Is it not turning on at all? Or are you seeing any error codes or other symptoms?
Yeah, not turning on at all.
Okay, got it. That sounds like it could be an issue with the power supply or control board. We can definitely take a look at that for you. First, let me confirm that we cover your area. What is the zip code at the location where the oven is?
I'm actually, I don't know the zip code, but I'm located in Kissimmee.
Okay, no problem. Kissimmee is within our service area, so we can definitely send a technician out to take a look at your oven. Let's get your appointment scheduled then. Can I please start by getting your full name?
My name is Stefano.
Great, thanks, Stefano. I'll go ahead and schedule an appointment for you, and I'll send the confirmation over to that email address. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Okay, so that's an example of the AI agent. And then I want to show you really what the example of the Google Local Service Ads is versus the Google Business Profile. So let me just play this. Okay, so I'm going to show you basically just on my smartphone here. So I'm going to go to type in plumber near me and hear the birds behind me. You got a hawk that lives behind me. So you can see it says plumber near me, and this section right here, okay, this is the Google Local Service Ads section. I just got my phone turned sideways. You can see I'm here in Palm City, and this right here is, again, like I said, it's the Google Local Service Ads section, and you'll notice below that down here is this sponsored section. So this sponsored section is pay-per-click. Here, this is the Google Local Service Ad section. This is you pay per phone call, okay? And then this right here is the Google Business Profile section, otherwise known as Maps, because you got this map here. Anything below the Maps is the Google Business Profile or Google Maps section. So you'll notice that the options that you have here are to call or to schedule, okay? Call or schedule. And then up top here is you can either schedule, like book an appointment, or you can call, or you can message, okay? And down below here, you don't pay for any phone calls that you generate in this section. So you don't pay for these phone calls. This is why it's called the organic section. It's natural. You naturally just show up here. Now, I will say that, you know, if about 30% of people and rapidly declining are people that select from this section here, because this top section is at the top, and so people associate the top being the best businesses, and they also know that these are guaranteed businesses or screened businesses. And you've also got your social proof here. You've got a lot more specificity in terms of the type of jobs they do. Everything's really laid out here for you. So about 40% of people select the top section here, or the Google Local Service Ad section. And this is really the big differentiator is the messages. If you select that and you send a message, this section right here, if you set this up correctly with a automated system or an agent, so that these messages are responded to when somebody sends a message to your business, okay, when they put their information in here and they click send, and you respond first. By the way, when this message is sent out, this person will have an option to send the same message to 3 other businesses. So it's so important that you get to the message as quickly as you possibly can, because you're competing with 4 businesses that got that same lead, okay? So this is, and by the way, when you respond within 30 seconds, you rank higher. You'll be more likely to show up here at the top. And by the way, the business at the top is the one that gets most of the best leads because people select from the top down. So typically, if you're second here or third, you're not getting that first person. You're not getting a shot at that first person that's selecting a business from up top there. And I want to show you here, if you go to more businesses, watch this. What's showing up is the Google local service ad section. They literally put the Google local service ad section in front of the organic or the Google business profile section down here at the bottom. So you can see the writing on the wall here that Google is really wanting to switch everything over, in my opinion, to the Google local service ad section. You know, I would optimize both sections, but you can just see what's happening here. So anyway, hope this helps, and thanks. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. I mean, you guys were able to see that there is a difference between the Google local service ad section and the Google business profile section. Those two sections, what they make up probably 70 to 80% of the total clicks on that page. So if somebody's trying to determine if they're going to move forward with a business, they're going to select 80% of the time in one of those two sections of Google. And the reason why the business that's showing up at the very absolute top right there in the Google local service ad section gets most of the leads is because if somebody selects on that first business, most likely that first business is going to get most of the phone calls, and they're going to be able to cherry pick all the people that actually are searching for that type of a business. So this is the reason why if you're getting a poor quality lead or you know, you're getting not that good of quality leads and you're showing up in Google local service ads, I would look at your absolute top percentage rate, and most likely it's pretty low. It's below like 50%. Now, I also wanted to show you the other thing, which is, so here's an example. So here's a testimonial for this is what can happen when you have the AI turned on. So this is just an early result, and I'm even you know, I'm you know, one of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to help business owners to see the value of it. If you set up an agent for any part of your business right now, I would set it up in the section that has to do with your message leads. So for the message lead section, because we're seeing, and I'll show you a testimonial in a second here, that when you respond to message leads within 30 seconds, that Google will send you a lot more leads for both voice and messages. And so that's what we're seeing. And I would just encourage you guys to just watch this testimonial really quick, and you'll see.
Okay. Look. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean,
Yeah, the lead volume as Jack. Yep.
yeah. There we go. Okay. So look at the message lead response time in September went to 0, like freaking nothing. 0.03 hours. That's freaking awesome. That's like nothing. Okay. That's awesome. All right. And then, yeah, lead volume went from 79 to what? Not bad. We're on track. Like, this is what I'm.
Yeah. So what I'm just showing there is that the overall lead volume went up by about 70 to about 120 leads. And the reason why is because of the message response time going from almost 2 hours to like minutes or seconds. And that's what really caused that. So I would say if you're going to do anything, if you're running Google local service ads and you want more of those leads, I would definitely think about turning on an agent and having it respond to those message leads so that you can get the fastest response time possible. And that's really it. I just want you guys, if you have any questions, please ask any questions. I've been doing this for for about 15 years, and I really do enjoy helping local businesses get results and achieve a consistent stream of pre-qualified, pre-sold leads coming into their, through their door. And yeah, I really do enjoy, like I said, helping businesses do that. I've got S on. There's S. What's going on?
So sorry, Ryan. It's
Yeah, no problem. Slacker. No, we got so for you guys that don't know, S is we call him the AI magician, and he, I found him on the side of the road. No, I'm just kidding. I found him actually hitchhiking in New York. No, I'm just kidding. No, he was.
My friends would actually so appreciate this because it's not beyond the possibility.
No, I actually, I'll show you how I found him. Watch this. Let me just show and don't tell. I always tell my team this: show and don't tell. So let me, here we go.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how.
Wait, I think that's one.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how I found S when I was doing a search. So this is what's so powerful. If you type in messages AI, there you go, text May. And if you go to his website, this is the reason why he is showing up so high in the search, because this is how I found his business. And I chatted with the sales agent. I asked, hello. And I had a whole conversation. Can I?
Yeah, so that's how I found S. Yeah, it wasn't on the side of the road, but it was on the side of the road on Google, at the top on the top search page. So that's not too bad of a place to find you as a top result for messages AI, and
we
then I had
used to be the top 10.
Oh yeah,
no joke, the top 10 search results, because we had an app.
Wow.
We had 200 publications written about us, and this was in the early days of kind of AI, right? So like, we all watch science fiction. AI was a big thing.
Yeah.
And it was almost like in anticipation of the current AI that's available now that I created the company.
Yeah.
Because what was impossible before generative AI was the ability for an AI to almost have, human creativity and talk like you or me. And
Yeah.
the reason we showed up on top was because we had an algorithm that could figure out aspects of the other person based on how they talked, right? So it's an element of, I would argue that generative AI, really, really impressive. It has, every month it achieves a higher benchmark. So maybe a year ago it was a high school student, and then it quickly became, scoring higher than the average college student on certain exams. And, maybe now it has a PhD, right? And can do better than most people can on a law exam or a medical exam, medical school students. But there's one thing that's lacking about it, which is the emotional intelligence, the EQ portion. AI has 200 plus IQ, but literally zero EQ, because you and I, for example, can look at each other and say, well, Ryan is male. He's approximately this age, right? And that's where I think with generative AI, what's really amazing about the potential here is that the thing that I worked on for 8 years, which is I can tell from a conversation whether you're a male or female, whether you're going to buy or not buy. And these are things that going forward, like, the AIs that we build and we talk to businesses about is just step one onto what the possibility is, right?
Yeah.
And so, we waited for years for generative AI to be available. And now that it is, like, we're getting pretty deep within the businesses. As soon as it's deployed as an intaker, people or qualifying or just answering the call, people go, okay, could this be as good as my my intake team. And then we're working on partnerships where we go, okay, what if it's the best converter that you have? Could we make that happen? And I think just within the last 2 weeks, right, we've had so many conversations. And then Ryan, I have to update you on some of the conversations that came through as a result of like our sessions, our daily sessions like this.
Yeah. Some people have come through. Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, where did you find us? And they were like, oh, you and Ryan do these videos. And I was like, great. Like it's, and so I had 2 conversations between today and yesterday where that was the topic of discussion, right? Because I showed them the demo of what the agent does, and immediately they started thinking, wait, am I crazy to think that if we deployed these agents that I could make an agent that converts better than a human does? And that's literally the thing that, I think in the last week, you were like, okay, next milestone as we go up this hill. That's the data point that I need.
Yeah.
And people are thinking about it.
Yeah, it's exactly the data point is to be very specific, because I always tell my team this is okay. The specificity is important. So it's the KPI, the key performance indicator is, can the agent actually, can it convert as well as a human? Meaning, and this is very important, the specifics are important. So the way that we're setting up initially, by the way, is not first line. And that's part of our magic, so to speak, is the plumbing. We've talked a lot about the plumbing with a lot of different, on a lot of these different, live videos that we've been doing. And it really does matter because, if you're going live with voice, you might not want to go live 100% of the time with an agent. You might want to just roll it out, like slow roll it, like not have it go right from the beginning, so that you can get enough conversation so that you can actually test it out and identify where it needs to be modified. And so, doing that allows a business owner to identify where it can be fixed. And so what my team is now doing with some of the businesses and some of the white label businesses that we work with is we're saying, look, if you can give us the data, or maybe we can look in your CRM and see the conversions of the AI calls where the AI answers after 20 seconds, because the humans get the first 20 seconds, and then look at the percentage of calls that are converted into new clients that are human answered first, then we've got a really good KPI comparison. Because if we can see that the agent answered calls that are after the humans get the first 20 seconds, the humans don't answer, the AI answers it, and then we see what happens. Was that lead converted? If so, then we've got a justification. And was it converted at a higher rate than the humans answering it first? Then we can justify potentially that we make the AI first line after we get, I would say, 100 calls. Maybe not 100, maybe 70 to 80 calls, somewhere around there, 50 to 80. If you get 50 to 80 calls, you should be able to identify that you've got a good cohort to
get. One moment, I gotta step away for just a minute while you speak.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Then you should have a good understanding. And this is really cool that that S is, and by the way, if you guys, I see we've got a bunch of people on right now. If you guys, we're going live to a few of our channels. So if you have any questions, please ask the questions. There's no silly question. They're really simple. I mean, we're trying to keep things very, very simple. I see a lot of YouTubers, that are creating content about artificial intelligence, and it goes super deep, and it goes into the coding and all that. We handle all the coding for you, so you don't have to worry about it. We make it so all you have to do is just press a few buttons, and you'll have an agent. You'll have an AI agent that can answer the phone for you and respond to message leads and respond to any chat leads that come to your website, and even answer your Gmails or anything. And basically any way that a human can communicate, the AI can take over those conversations, either in the form of an intake or an account management role or any other role. And that's the other thing that we talked about is how businesses are really going to integrate these artificial intelligent agents. For a plumber, for example, the way that they would first get started with an agent is really simple. I mean, they're going to set up an agent and they're going to go live with it on their intake, where they're going to back up their in-house humans, because they know what I'm telling you is true, that if they actually respond to message leads and to voice leads within 30 seconds, that they're going to get more leads. So they're going to be motivated to start with intake and or customer service. Once they do that, then they're going to want to have additional build out modules, so to speak. And those modules would be like we've talked about, like a review module where you can press a button which, by the way, Alex is going to have this ready by tomorrow, I think, where you can press a button and send a text out via an AI agent in order to have that agent have a text and a voice conversation with somebody in order to get more reviews. Then there's another module that would follow up with people that you've sent invoices and estimates to, okay, and send those out. There's another module for emergency services to put those as the top like response, so that you can actually respond to those people very, very quickly, and the AI agent can handle that and make it so that there's like there's a triage, so to speak. So that's an emergency response agent. And then there's a seasonal plumbing agent, meaning a follow-up agent that would follow up with people seasonally before winter, and for your plumbing needs that would need to be taken care of before winter, to winterize your pipes, to remind people of that type of a service. So these are all modules that would be added on, and the opportunity is okay, who is the business, who's the agency that is going to take over that for a vertical, to really know the vertical inside and out. We've got friends like Corey and Cliff that have done that for bed bugs, And by the way, the agent that we set up yesterday knew more about bed bugs than I would ever known in just one prompt. I mean, literally, it just pulled all the information and helped us to understand, and had a conversation when we tested it to help us identify and walked us through how to identify how to know if we actually had bed bugs or not. It literally was sounded like a doctor. It was amazing.
And it's basically ChatGPT, right? You have a version of ChatGPT that's like, this is who you are hiring as an assistant. And we all know how popular ChatGPT became just from the knowledge that it had. Now you have that. It's almost the 200 IQ, person that works as intake to start. And then you add on top. It's almost a personalization to the job role that you're adding on top. You have the smartest human being out there, the most knowledge. And now with every one of the modules you mentioned, that's just a skill, an assignment that you give them, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You're killing these. You're doing intake. You're doing these 5 things well. The businesses will now start thinking about, wait, we have the best possible employee working for us. I haven't even scratched the surface of what we could have it do.
Yeah, I agree. And so 100%. So tell me about these people that found us. What did they say? I mean, how did those calls go?
So there was one plumbing company, which he runs a chain of 12 and wants to do more and handles the intake in-house between a couple of people. He saw our video. He actually tried to reach out to you. So I told him I was not insulted that I was, second.
How did he try to reach out? Because I would maybe.
I think he went on both our websites, and I guess he chatted. He mentioned that, I don't know if he wants a conversational agency because you have the chatbot there, right? But it didn't link to a calendar appointment. And so, I mean, it's amazing the behavior that even happens that we talk about, right? You go to number
Yeah.
one, try it, can
Yeah.
you book the appointment? No. Number two, oh,
Yep.
and then we provided an appointment link. And I was
Yep.
literally on the call being like, oh yeah, we put that on for Ryan. I need to put it in the booking link for him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. So, okay. So this just, that just happened recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that happened last night. And by the way, I've said before that since I put my chat widget up, my calendar just fills up, right?
Yep.
And I just hop on calls, and that's what he did.
Did you add my calendar to the chat agent or no?
No, that's what I have to do. Like
Okay.
while we were on the call, I was like, wait, so what happened with Ryan? And he's like, I think I reached out, but I didn't get a response back.
Yeah. There's no booking link. I'll have to send you my calendar link because that's how I got a hold of, you saw how, that's exactly how I got a hold of S. So we just made that website go live and we put the agent on there, and I really want to show that agent. I use it almost every time that I do a demo. I showed it today actually to a prospect, and because it's how these local businesses can really leapfrog ahead of their competitors, because they can now show up ahead of their competitors because their time on site goes way up. And I would submit that it's probably as good or better than a human. I mean, because it was interesting. The guy that I talked to today had a human that was like they had a live chat, and it was a human live chat, and it did respond pretty quick. But I don't know. I kind of like the agent better. You know, I mean, I just
personally, the reason we put up that bot was like, because we're fairly new and people need to be educated a little bit, right? They might have come across ChatGPT, wanted something custom, found us, and they have all these questions. Does it integrate? You know, could it do this? Could it do this? Right? And for our bot is so much more useful in that, because I can put that in the prompt. You know, it can integrate so long as that software has APIs. You know, what's it cost? How long does it take? I just pop in that information and I did it iteratively, right? Like I would just look back at the conversations. What kind of questions did people ask? Oh, okay. Well, it answered a vague answer here. Let me pop in the specific ones. And so so basically it does intake better than I do, right? Because it answers the question the same way I would answer it. And I've actually gone farther and had a technical support one by email. So imagine that, right? Like it's almost like this cascading agents where they found us, interacted through the chatbot, asked for the email, got the email, tried, and then emailed that address, and the bot replied because it was very technical, right? And it was answering technical questions. I wake up in the morning, I look at it, and I was like, oh, dear God, we just rolled this email agent out last night, and it answered deep technical support questions. You know, and
wow.
I was like, wow. So it was 80% there because it's the problem with the hallucination of AI, and I wouldn't call it a hallucination, right? Like, I think it gets a bad name because people haven't trained it properly. So just say employee, you hire a new employee, and they're like, okay, well, what's the refund policy, right? If you never told them what the refund policy is, and it has to answer, it's going to say, hey, you know, you have a trial, and you know, within 30 days, it's just going to default outside knowledge.
Yeah, it's gonna make it up based on what its knowledge is. Yeah, if you don't give it.
Right.
Yeah.
And with deep text support, right? They were asking very specifics about where do I go, and it's like go to the menu option, look at settings, and by and large, that's if you just said that and somebody asked you how to change your profile picture, right? That would be accurate 80% of the time, because 80% of the the company websites, that's how you do it, right?
Yes. Wow. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I don't know that I would call it a hallucination. It's actually a good thing that it actually gave an answer. Although you could guide it and say, hey, if you don't know the answer, don't try to make something up. Just say you don't know, and which is a great way to train an employee. It's the exact same thing that you would do. This is why teachers and people that build SOP or standard operating procedures are going to be very good at prompt or are good at prompt creation because they've considered, or even human resource people, because they've considered all of these factors that could go into the prompt creation. Like, I mean, you want to train it the way you would train an employee. You want the employee to be honest about what it knows, what it can't do, what it can do, all the things. And so, yeah, that's really cool. And there was another one you said there's two?
Yep, there's another one. And they run a call center in the Philippines for law firms.
Oh, whoa.
So, I mean, we've talked about, in 2 years, this AI would be able to take over all of that work, right? And it makes sense.
Those are two pretty big. I mean, you got a 12 location plumber, which, by the way, is probably the vertical that I really want to go after. I'm being more drawn to just being like, I'm the AI guy. We're the LSA, GBP, and AI, specialist for plumbing. That's it. I mean, just being like, that's it. We're gonna do this for plumbers because, like, because there's such an opportunity there, because the return on investment is so high, and in terms of the local service ads, they still make really good money from the local service ads section, and showing up there. And by the way, if you have any questions, guys, please post them in the comments or just post them down below. We'll answer them. We'd love to have you on. I'd love to bring you guys on here so that we can actually set up an agent for you in less than 5 minutes. And remind me to tell you, we are having some challenges with setting up OpenAI. I'm just being completely transparent, guys. I mean, this is why you want to have somebody that knows what they're doing, like, take all the brain damage for actually setting this stuff up, because it can be just that. I mean, there's issues, and they're being worked on. We've got more voices now for OpenAI. OpenAI, just to let you know, is we want to pull the reason why we're doing OpenAI is because, and I got a tortoise walking behind me here in a second. It's kind of funny. But the reason why we're using OpenAI is because we want to make sure, we want to have it so that we have both the text and the voice on one prompt. So that's the kind of the holy grail right now, is to be able to have one prompt that you can, and one knowledge base for both texting and voice, which we have, but it's we actually have two different prompts that we create. So that's the only challenge. And actually, the voice doesn't have a prompt because we're using Bland on top of OpenAI right now. So this is the challenge. So anyway, back to the plumbing. I think that I like being the vertical owner is really valuable, because then you become the go-to guy. You get to know that vertical, like I said in the beginning, where all those modules. You've already implemented them for other plumbers, and so they're already vetted. So all you got to do is just plug them in. It's like plug and play. And yes, some of these modules could apply for a plumber and, like, for example, an electrician. So there is that cross, like emergency service, those type of modules would obviously apply between plumbers and electricians and maybe others. But if you this is the opportunity for anybody. I mean, there's so much opportunity right now, and big intake teams in the Philippines, etc. They're looking to see what is around the corner, and it's not just it's here. I mean, it's not around the corner. It's like, at the very least, those intake teams, I know what I would want if I'm using an intake team or a call center, or if I'm having which I refer a lot of business to call centers. I used to, before AI agents. I would refer to call centers. Why? Because it would increase the likelihood that the calls were answered in 30 seconds. The problem is, and nobody knows this, and S knows this now because I helped them understand this. It's only because I've taken so many phone calls with business owners that I know what happens is that when you start sending those phone calls to a call service, about 30% of the time, they go to a music hold. That's the problem. Music hold is like no bueno. It means that music hold is a missed call. And so
Right.
this is the reason why, if I was owning that intake company, and or if I had a business that was sending my calls, that intake company, I would ask them if I knew what to ask them. But most of these business owners, 99.9%, do not know what to ask, because they don't know what I just told you. They don't know that 30% of the time that the calls go to music hold. So they don't know even to ask whether or not there's a backup to the 200 human intake people that are answering the phone. They don't know to ask that. And so this is why, at the very least, that intake team really needs to have that backup of an agent, so that basically it's a SIMU call for all the intake, and then there's, just like I said, a 20-second delay, and the intake's no different. I would set the intake up the exact same way that I set up a business. I would have the overflow go over to the AI. I would
Yeah.
much rather have somebody talk to an agent. And this is where these intake, if you're an intake, listen to me, guys. This is what I would recommend that you do. Because if you do this, at least you're going to get an experience, or start having an experience with the agent, and you're going to train it so that you can at least know what to expect when the agent starts answering the phone. So
Yeah.
that's, you know,
I mean, I'd like to bring up what kind of the content of some of those calls were, where, my other one today, it took a while to kind of get to where they wanted to do. And then they were like, look, we're just trying to replicate what you guys are doing. Right. I'm like, fantastic. That's why Ryan and I get on. Like, we have a very generous, like, attitude about this. Like, we're not, we're not competing. I would love for you to, okay, you want to build this, model flying car, right? Let us give it to you first, so that you have something to work with. And then you can choose afterwards whether you want to build your own. But in the meantime, use this, right? And we want to prove our value too. And we're up against the Salesforces and the Googles of the world. Like, we're not competing with each other. If we can help you with this, we gain from it, because here's something practical. You and I, like, our teams have hundreds of things to build. But if you give us a purpose to work on this, and somebody else says the same thing, we're like, okay, that thing might have been number 50. Hey, Ryan, do you do it, or should I do it? We thread it through, so that we act as almost like an extension, an arm for your business. Like, don't reinvent from scratch. Don't try to catch up with your own internal staff. Like, do that, but work with us first, so we give you a running start. And I've always said I'd be even happy to train up your internal staff on this, because I love teaching it. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And why wouldn't, like, that's the best of all worlds. And, let's work together on this.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I agree 100%. Like, let's build it for you, and then you at least will get a head start, and you'll know, without having I mean, at least you can start now instead of having to wait. And then the beautiful thing is your agent will be trained, and then you can move your agent over to your own system if you want to, because it's movable, right? I mean, that's what you said, S. I mean, so
I say that, everything that you give to us, right? Like, okay, here's the SOP. Oh, we didn't realize we didn't have one. Now we have to assemble it. You're getting all the raw materials that's necessary, right? And once you've gone through that process once, the second time is so much easier. So even if there's technical capabilities when you build out that we have that you don't, okay, well, until you have your own, just use ours. And then if you can, wean yourself off of us. But we do this professionally, right? So we're going to be going a million miles an hour, right? And do you really need your team to be doing that? So my analogy always is, you and I are Sherpas going up the hill, and we both went up our respective journeys, and then saw each other on the hill. It was just like, holy shit, there's somebody else out here. awesome.
Yeah.
Like you and I
Yeah.
can go so much faster up the hill. But at anybody who's standing at the bottom saying like, "Hey, I want to build my own," we're like, "Nah,
Yep.
don't. Like, we're already up the hill. We'll throw a line down to you and just pull you up really quickly."
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
yeah,
that's a
because you're exactly right, because I mean, you can move the agent to your own platform with all the knowledge intact, like from what it's learned, so why not just get started now, test it out, get the learnings, and then you'll know what you want and what you don't want in the agent that you're building. Right now is probably the best time to create an agent, because you've got Grok 3 coming online, you've got Orion coming online from ChatGPT. Those are probably the two big powerhouses out there that I think are really gonna, like really shake things up. Because let's face it, yes, the agents are great, and there's going to be a million billion agents that are going to have their own language, their own communication, that that you're gonna build for your business. The modules that I was talking about before, those are all separate agents. Okay, those are all agents. They're all separate, not modules really. They're agents that are gonna do. They're gonna have each one is gonna have its own unique thing that it's gonna do in your business. And so that we call an agent. So your business and every business is gonna have tens, if not hundreds, of these agents. One for human resources, one for sales, one for intake, one for customer service, one for billing, one for, I mean, every department of your business is going to have an agent. So get ready for it. It's just that the first line of obvious use for this is using voice. It's funny how we just go right to the voice thing, and it's really, you could use the agent for any one of these experiences in your business, but because it's voice, we're using it where we use voice in the beginning, which is right at that first contact with the person. So just know that that's the only reason why we're starting here. Really is because it's the obvious first choice, because we now have a new way to communicate with this technology, with the computers, with these large language models, and the generative AI, the artificial intelligence that is set up the way our brains are set up, with the a neural the neural pathways, basically very similar, but it's
right.
circuitry instead of neurons. But it's the same, vector database that we use and to find information in our own brain. And so it's set up the same way. So we're just using that interface and leveraging it, which is voice and text, to start that communication. And then what's beautiful about it is that if you set it up the right way, if you set up your agent the right way, it has full recollection of the entire conversation, so that literally you're going to get to a point to where you really want the agent to have full transparency of all communication, so that it's aware of what's going on, so that it can have more context when it's actually doing these other aspects of your business, so that it can communicate fully with all the other agents.
So I was on a call last night with Carl,
Mhm.
who's training up some salespeople, and he brought up, people go, "Oh wow, this agent could do so many things right now, right?
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
do I do? How do I present it to the business?" And I thought
Mhm.
what Carl said, and Carl's a dear friend of Ryan's. I met Carl through Ryan, um,
Mhm.
and he said, "Don't promise too much. You want to talk with the business to figure out what pain point that they have is, solve that with the AI before giving it, all these different responsibilities, if you will, these different
Yep.
job roles, right? Do that, because that makes, that adoption or that resistance so much lower, and it makes you targeted and think through what is your SOP for something like this, right?
Yep.
And I think that's like, that's that's so important and that's so true that,
Yep.
you know, when Ryan and I met, like, and, you know, we have deployments out with, you know, over a dozen businesses, individual businesses now. And there was a part of me that's like, hey man, I'm used to doing like the Black Diamond, like Mount Everest stuff, right?
Yeah.
And for people that we're bringing on, this is like the, you know, this is the is it the green circle hill? You know, this is the
Yeah.
bunny steps, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a, man, as much as I would love to get them to like Black Diamond right now, I know they
Yeah.
have to start off with bunny slopes. And,
Yeah.
you know, reiterating what Ryan said, that's where it is with a lot of the businesses, is kind of bringing that down to their level. And you see so much resistance on a, hey, I need to get this thing perfect to
Yep.
get up. You're like, no, that's not how you learn, right? Like you learn by getting on and just doing it, deploying it. You're gonna learn
Yes.
so many more things about how else to employ this AI along the way. But the most important thing to do is start.
Yep. I agree. And so let us know what other questions you guys have. I've got a lunch I'm gonna have before I get on my next call. We got a call with one of our clients. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought me up to speed on, you know, on these two people that found us. And this is great. I mean, we're completely transparent on this call. I mean, this is why we do these, is because we found that it's better to go live and talk about this stuff, and instead of just in a void, you know, of us just having a conversation on a phone, where we're able to have you guys look over our shoulder and kind of spy in on our conversation in order to hear like what really is going on, like what, you know, for people that are pretty far down the hill, or pretty far up the hill rather, in terms of, you know, if we're using the Sherpa example, in terms of like setting these up. So if you want to get additional help getting up the hill, let us know. You can actually go, either you can go to lsa.accelerateyourmarketing.com/sign up, or you can text us at 619-304-5155. You can text the word audit to that number, and you might get our AI, and it might, you know, respond with a bunch of different questions. So because that's one of the things that we're doing, instead of having the form that we used to use before be filled out by people, we're actually having the AI take people through a much more valuable conversation. So yeah, before we jump, anything else you want to say? Yes. No, I think that's
No, that's it. I was, man. Okay, yeah, we got to jump, but otherwise, I was literally about to go on and be like, oh, Ryan, the moment we mentioned a problem with your calendar link, I should have just pulled it right up and popped in that calendar link on your bot, right?
Oh yeah, can you do that, please, right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have my calendar link?
No, send it, put it in the chat.
I will. I'll text it to you.
Yeah. So yeah, let me do that. Let me do that. And if you jump and if other people are on, that's another
Yeah.
opportunity to show it.
Oh, here. Yeah. Let
All
me.
right.
Here. Let me. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. One second for you. Here we go. Found it. There we go. Let's confirm that it's working.
I also realized, hey, just to let you guys know how full disclosure we are. You know, like we're doing stuff on my laptop stuff.
That's awesome.
But hey, look, like we all know it's real. You know?
Yeah. I'm texting this to you right now. Private chat.
Yep.
Okay. I just chatted it to you. Did you get it? 。
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so you're just going to add it there.
Add it. Did it come through? No, it didn't come through.
Oh, wait. Here, I'll text it to you as well. Hold on.
Yeah.
There you go. I just did it to you.
Okay. Yep, I got it. Can't be. I'm going to email it to myself because I still use my own messaging app, and we don't have a desktop extension. I never finished it.
Okay.
And let me send, accelerate, and
Are you able to
edit
add it?
prompt. Yep, I'm just about to do that.
So this is all you got to do to send the link.
Yep, and you insert it wherever. You know, if I want to talk with Ryan, or if I want to schedule a time to talk with Ryan, provide this link. Okay.
Or wouldn't you say if the person wants to schedule a time? Yeah. Yeah. Or the lead. Yeah.
So I go so I take on this role where I go you and I, right?
Okay.
So I go you, and so it's almost like you giving the pep talk to it, and then having a chat with it. And I've seen both ways, you know, when they go you or I, and I think the AI just figures it out now.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
All right.
I gotta eat. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Guys, let me know if you got any questions. Post comments in. Text us if you got any questions, and we will talk again. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Ryan. Talk to you soon.
All right.